Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Indiaretailing Presents Leadership Dialogue. On the topic Agentic AI in Retail Leadership, Strategic Leadership in the Age of Autonomous Intelligence, powered by Salesforce. As we all know, like in the past decade, like if you just go beyond 10, 15 years, AI has been a buzzword. But now when it comes to, especially one of the biggest landscape in India, retail industry, AI is not just a buzzword now, it's a use case. It has transformed itself from a bare enabler to a necessity. And then we came across a era where we have generative AI to enhance the customer experience, to enhance more personalization on the customer outlook. And you guys must be using it very efficiently. And then we have the third term, which is the agentic AI, which is a more advanced level of integration to enhance more personalization, more customer experience. You just bridge the gap between the retailer and the customer. So just to start with, I'll ask all of you to introduce yourself. And are you guys are you using AI in any capacity? And then we'll move on to Shashank and we'll start the conversation. Anisa, we'll start from there. Oh, sorry, Vrushali.
On? Yeah, hi. My name is Vrushali. I lead marketing for this brand called the Belgian Waffle Co. It's an indigenous Western dessert brand. We currently have 650 plus stores across 200 plus cities. We are, of course, the waffle leaders and a leading player in dessert as a category. We operate in offline ecosystem, and when it comes to the online ecosystem, we are currently only present on aggregators like Swiggy, Zomato. We're not a D2C brand at this point in time. That being said, we are a physical brand with a digital first approach. So a lot of our efforts across consumer touchpoints, be it marketing, tech, operations, are driven through the digitization that maybe from say menu digitization to self-ordering kiosks, etc., for us to help during long queues and waiting time, etc. On the consumer end front, largely we've been using tech, and I wouldn't really say AI per se. Tech for the CRM efforts and the loyalty efforts for cohorting, and the personalization, which is one to many at that in this capacity, is through journeys and auto flows. We are about to relaunch a loyalty program, which is more reward-based loyalty program, moving away from points-based loyalty program, and we'll see how that sort of pans for us. But yes, when it comes to tech and digitization, considering the Gen Z audience as our core audience, we try to come across as something that they would enjoy and relate with.
Anisa.
Hi, my name is Anisa Virji, and I'm with Regal Shoes. And yeah, I mean, so I have the e-commerce for Regal Shoes, and although again, we are also a primarily offline brand, we have had a digital transformation in the last few years, and we're using the online platform to do a lot of exploration. And obviously right now, exploration means AI use. So for e-commerce, I think one of the primary ways in which AI is already being used and quite maturely is content creation, customer care. You've got your chatbots and your trackers and a lot of new stuff that's happening. And that's interesting is sort of customer identification online and using, customer... or identifying customers who haven't reported themselves to you, which sounds a little creepy, but like that's what's happening. And I guess we don't know yet how secure it is or where it's going to go, but that's what we're working with right now.
So hi, this is Anwer. I'm part of Bestseller team. I head the .com business of Jack and Jones, Fermoda only and selected. I would say recently we have taken a leap in developing our own portal, which is a brand.com portal. Earlier we were part of the marketplaces. The majority of business of online sales is coming from marketplaces. We have already we started off our journey as a first Jack and Jones store somewhere 15 years down the line, and after that we keep up opening the new stores, and now we have almost 300 stores in our kitty. We also have around 1,400 plus shopping shops. So the offline presence is quite huge. But having said that, we do not have a right portal where we can, merge the offline 15 years of data, customer history, shopping history, buying behavior, their name, profile, bringing on to a create a portal where they can come and log into the online platform, and we can provide the user experience. Fortunately, in recent past, we have seen many companies have come up with building up the data lake, which is basically bringing all the data from to one platform from single data silos. So that we have successfully managed to do that. So now we have a fully functional data lake. Uh, Now the next course of action is the data of online and offline is merged together. It's a huge data of customer profiles. We need to create cohorts and one-to-one, person-to-person. So a user who is a better spender or a full-time buyer from us should be able to, feel privileged when they, log into .com. We should be able to customize the view and the offer and the offering to that particular person. That's where we think that hyper personalization is the way forward for us in order to integrate online and offline together. And that's where I am here. All I can say about me, I was part of the offline team for a greater amount of time, about 15 years. Then I moved to project implementation, which is project digitalization of all the processes. And after that, learning about the systems and data, then I moved into the online sales. So sales and data put together is now making up the .com sales. Yeah, that's about me. I hope I should be able to contribute to the agentic AI.
Hi, this is Nigam from Spykar Lifestyle. I head the IT functions completely and support to online, offline, CRM and everything. So we have a single platform, single data lake for entire business. So this is a short portfolio, but real-time data we are able to track and give to management and business also, including inventory and all this. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bhaskara Kempaiah. I'm a co-founder in this grocery brand. It's an organic grocery brand. We're based out of Bangalore, and we opened recently in Hyderabad also. We have about 20 stores. We do about 60 CR in turnover. We are a brand plus a retail stuff. And we are going through a digital transformation ourselves. We've historically been store only. In the last 1 year, we are increasing our online sales. And I'm also a partner in another technology company where we're building a product that is agentic. So maybe I'll probably talk more. We're specifically doing something for retail there. I'll talk more when we go through the conversations.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm Shashank. I head AI, data, digital transformation for ShopperStop. ShopperStop, one of the oldest multi-brand retailer, house of brands we call ourselves. And AI and data was something ShopperStop has already heavily invested since the beginning, because we had a First Citizen loyalty program, one of the oldest and biggest loyalty program. And we have, kind of already leveraging AI and machine learning to, create customer profiles, do the personalized communication, identifying the trends, able to relate to the management, what are the causes of if the sales has dropped or something. And recently, year back, we started this journey of digital transformation, along with the 3-year AI roadmap. The idea here is AI is something that is not going to go away, right? While the traditional AI, especially machine learning and predictive modeling, it has been there, But even that has now been automated, right? You don't need a data scientist who can actually write a code to do a simple prediction. And that's why we wanted to be kind of future ready, so that once AI picks up, becomes a mainstream. In fact, it's already mainstream for some other businesses. So we are there. In terms of data lake, we have like TBs of data. We are able to merge online offline data together at one place because the backend is SAP. We are trying to create a golden record, which is something more challenging because we are very old loyalty program. So we started with mobile number as a primary key, then email as a primary key. There was no consistency. But now I think everyone has moved to mobile being the main identifier, and now the task has become easier for us. So yeah, very interested. We actually have some agents live in production. Some of the processes we have already made, for example, a photo shoot. We used to have a studio, in-house studio, which used to do shoot, but now we have decommissioned it. Everything is happening through AI. So even now, if you go to shopperstore.com, you'll find models which are completely AI generated, and you will not be able to differentiate. That's the kind of innovation that has happened. We have the whole the discovery part. While you are used to doing a search that is more inclined to how you search on Google, but how do we have a conversational agents for fashion discovery? Let's say I want to shop for a wedding in Delhi in winter. It's a big big search for a normal traditional search to work, and using the LLMs and using the Gemini, we're able to do a more contextualized search. So yeah, very excited. I think would have a very good understanding. The idea here is AI is something that has going to be there, and we want to know how we can leverage it.
Hi, I'm Divya Gupta, and I head the e-commerce for Baggit. Um, so at Baggit, while I think we've really exploited the Gen AI with the videos and content, and our first summer shoot is out, which is fully AI-based models, and it's come out beautifully. In fact, I mean, we can roam in countries without spending really a penny, kind of a thing. So yeah, as an AI, it's shot in like a Rome and Egypt, and there are different countries. The girl is just walking through, and that's the video with the bag. Um, so I think it has a vast usage. Well, everyone is exploiting the Gen AI. What my real problem lies is because we are under different marketplaces and different modes of modes of business, like say marketplace, SOR, OR. My biggest challenge, which we are trying to resolve through the new AI, is how do I manage my inventory at different portals to be able to give me better stock turn, better margins, and someone who can also trace my returns. So based on the returns, based on how much is the platform capacities, like say if it's a Mindra or say Amazon or this, everyone has their own potential and a clientele, right? So sometimes the bags that work really well at Mindra may not work at Agio, but for you it's a bestseller. You try to send it everything everywhere, right? But that is not optimization of your stock. And with stock being your biggest asset in today's world, where you are trying to squeeze your production, getting the throughputs out, or whether, so we're not able to integrate our stores for now, but what I'm really working on is how has my inventory and what this inventory has worked here. So to give me a predictive on like based on the platform also, like if they have an event, so how do I push my inventory to which area? Whether do I block it for Myntra, whether I block it for Flipkart and blah, blah, blah. And also which modes of, business model should I go for so that I get a better revenue for my company. Also better stock around. So if there is an average or a slower seller, then maybe you want to give it away because you're giving a lot of discounts and there is storage cost and there is fulfillment, returns. And this basis this, it just classifies me that please give it on OR base. Give it away at one shot, just above the cost. So I think those are the things that now that I'm looking out from the new Agentic. What is it called? Yeah, the new AI, I would call it. It's confusing. So yeah. So while we have exploited the elder AI, okay, the newer AI is what I'm trying to exploit so that it can really help us in the inventory margin. So we're talking about business with the new AI to help me understand while the AI will just throw me analytics. Okay, it's me who decides that okay, fine, this is good, this is not good, it needs that tweaking, it needs that no, I don't think that this is good, give me more options, ta ta ta, more options, ta ta ta, new options. Okay, so I think that's interesting and that's what I'm looking out from the new AI. Yeah.
I guess Divya has given us a good classification of generation, like Bade Miya, Chote Miya in the AI landscape. So, anyhow, like if you just look at the panel, we have experts from marketing, e-commerce, and of course technology. And if you just look at the brands also, we have from food to specialty retail to department store chain, and then again fashion, which is the most important one. Before we come to you, Shashank and Himanshu, can you also run us through the possibilities of agentic AI? I mean, people generally talk about implementing this, implementing that, but nobody is showing it, and there are no enough case studies to prove it. So before you come up with your presentation and your talk points, can you just run on the possibilities and from the Indian retail landscape?
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the amount of work all of you are doing. And it's always great to see so much of interest in AI. I have been discussing, talking, selling, buying, implementing AI for the last 18, 20 odd years now. However, like what you said, right? Like there have been different generations of AI, predictive AI and generative AI and agentic AI. We've never seen as now when Salesforce went into the agentic era, we've never seen more euphoria about AI ever before because it's now in the hands of the business user. It's now in the hands of the technology user. When you are able to talk to them in natural languages, that's the reason we are seeing mass adoption of AI and the use cases, Manu, like you were talking about, all of what people said, right? Like in terms of generating photos, in terms of asking what your inventory is looking like, what your stock turns will look like, what has just been my daily performance or my year-on-year, month-on-month performance of a particular store, of a particular region. If you go to the another level of retail, if you go to the FMCG levels, right, or in the FMCG subsector in the retail domain, what are my distributors selling? What kind of schemes are working in the market? Which color of a product is working well? All of these are now questions. So while the backend is AI, all of these today are questions. So we are seeing enough and more use cases coming on to into the AI generation now, into the agentic AI generation now. However, what we are also seeing is that for all of this to happen, you need to consolidate data at one single source, right? That is where people have struggled. Uh, some of you talked about having a data lake or building a data warehouse eventually, but then you have already invested in another POS system where you cannot get the data out or you do not have a connector for that. You're moving on to online channels. Now that website might be developed on a separate technology altogether. How do you merge? You talked about Anwer about 15 years of offline data. How do you merge it with online data? How do you dedupe? Anisa, you talked about while it's scary and creepy, but how do you dedupe and get that personal information about an unknown person who's coming to your website, make him or turn him or her into a known person, and use that data to do your personalization at scale, right? That's where eventually all of this is getting. How do you personalize at scale and then use that to affect your business metrics, like optimize your supply chain, optimize your inventory, get that back into your production, create offers and discounts. All of these use cases today are being used in some shape and form by our clients who are on the Salesforce platform, right? The reason why we see this being done very successfully is Salesforce operates and always positions itself as a system of engagement. So while we have the category curse of being known as the CRM player, we do a lot more. We do service, we do chatbots, we do predictive, generative, agentic. Now we've kind of led that entire layer. But we also have something called as data cloud, which we pivoted from the entire CDP story, the customer data platform story. So what we are essentially telling you is that if you bring all kinds of data, your offline data, your online data, your engagement data, into something called as data cloud, and then synthesize that data with your ERP or your system of records, any kind of system of records that you have, you are able to then drive a much more effective AI journey, right? And that's been the challenge, that earlier on you needed to dump all of this data into a data lake, then have a data scientist write codes to make sense of those data. Here we are saying that, okay, you just bring that data, all your cohort creations, segmentations, all your cleaning up the data, deduplications of those data and records is happening on the Salesforce Data Cloud platform. And hence all the use cases that I just spoke about is very easily possible through the agentic layer, which we call as Agentforce. So I'll stop with that.
No, I think very, very interesting. Shashank's almost covered everything. One other area that I would just want to leave with you as food for thought is that on one hand, while we are today trying to bring in a single source of truth and trying to create a consolidation of data, the second question which will soon come to all of you as users is, what should be the conversational interface looking like? How is it that you create an application layer over this? So you've got data. Now data will have several applications working on them. Which metrics do you make sense of? At what point in time? Do you need to create segmentation on the fly as fresh data keeps on coming in? Because let's say, for example, in the case of, let's say, Spykar, you don't know when the millennials will start becoming purchasers. They don't define and say, today I am coming in and I've got money and I'm employed and I'm going to be spending. So how do you kind of leverage these feeds in an intelligent fashion and almost create personas in real time, and they feed into you so that you can leverage them for business? At the end of the day, the key question to ask is, how do you connect incremental revenue to the investments in AI? That's another element that I just want to keep as food for thought for this audience.
Manchu, you were mentioning about the conversational interference. Rupendra, would you like to add on the same? Because you've been using AI, and in the fashion also the implementation is quite high. So any talk points on that?
We started the POC for the AI, but the major challenge is data computing capacity is required too much, and for that we have to pay extra cost. Second, I discussed in the early morning session also, if we are putting data in AI, what is the data security here? And how we secure data? Because if we are putting everything on AI and cloud, anyone can access this data. So what is data security point here? So we are publishing my supply chain data, we are giving my financial data, we are giving rate also, COGS also, sales numbers also. So if somebody hack this data, where I have to go? How to protect? So that is also a challenge for us. So we are in still POC stage. We are using AI only on those platforms where SaaS-based model, they are giving us solution with writing condition. This is multi-tenant, but it is tenant to up to you, accessible, not to others. So this is the limitation with AI we are facing, and cost also.
One way you can solve your data security concern is now with, if you're looking at AI solutions alone, right? Now there are a lot of open source models that can be set up in your infrastructure cloud, talking to your ERPs, where the data is not pulled out of the ERPs. On demand, whatever is required, that data is only retrieved by the middleware, uses the LLMs, which is on your own cloud, which is open source model installed, and you have complete security and access to it. I mean, so you are able to use the power of LLMs without having to go to the outside world, and it is safe and secure within yourself.
Yeah.
We have to give the higher computing system, power, cloud, whatever infrastructure we have to use, we have to invest there. And in public cloud, we have to pay for download and upload both charges. That is too much high.
It's incrementally high. So the cost of your own hosted LLMs is probably going to be 25 to 30% more than using OpenAI models, which is public. So it's not exorbitantly expensive because there are cloud systems that you can use on a monthly basis, Hugging Face, and there are a lot of stuffs where you can host the models. And they will cost you slightly more, but not exorbitantly more than what you would pay for a OpenAI's 4.0 model.
I have taken the services for the AI from the IIT Bombay.
Okay.
And expert came.
Okay.
And they suggested. Still, you have to wait if you are concerned with all these points.
Okay.
Bring up an interesting discussion, right? So while you want to stay on topic, but the cost of compute and the overall data security, right? Now, if you look at it, the cost of data or the cost of compute over a period of time will come down, and it will pay off in a much more effective manner to you. So if you look at a business case that you developed of what is it that you're doing and how do you power your employees and your team below with agentic layers, and how does that bring down your overall cost. So if you look at it in isolation of a technology cost alone, yes, the cost will be higher. But if you look at it, how are you improving efficiencies? How are you driving other business metrics down, like your supply chain, inventory, etc.? That's when AI pays off. You're absolutely right. That's the reason NVIDIA is killing it in the market, right? Like they have been making money off the compute power that is required. But it will come down. See, that what happens over a period of time is more and more companies will invest in making the models much more efficient. The compute will go lower. And how do you use that data points to affect and move the needle on other business parameters and KPIs is what is going to actually drive ROI for your business. So another data security part, you're absolutely right when you said SaaS model companies will thrive and survive on that because they inherently take care of data security. Plus, while being multi-tenant, you have your own instance and the data is not shared. So we can have a much deeper conversation on that because even public sector companies and defense companies use SaaS models to leverage AI, right? But overall, what do you feel, right? Like, while cost and compute right at the moment is a challenge, what is the thought of the larger audience over here? Like, are you seeing that everyone has an interest to do AI, right, in some shape or form. Everyone is doing it in some shape or form already. You've already spent a lot of money in bringing your data into a data lake, organizing that data in a data warehouse, and then now is the chance for you to activate that data and leverage that data. What do you feel, sir? Shashank, if you may want to add, like you've almost collected data. Like I've been a Shopper Stop member forever, I think, right now. So how do you use that data?
So first thing, having everything on cloud helps, right? You don't have to think about the infra and maintenance and downtime. And if you have enterprise agreement, it comes with their SLAs backed by Google's terms and services. What I have realized that to drive the AI, especially LLMs, right? As Rupendra said, we as a companies, we are kind of like a consumers, right? We are not like of someone who wants to have their own LLM, train their own LLM, right? That is not our requirement. And now this, OpenAI, Gemini, it has been commoditized. It's commercialized. It's just a service that you'll use. Talking about the cost, we did one POC which is actually live, and we realized that if for example, customer calls me and gives the feedback, right? While the CRM team has the quantitative data, how do I provide them the qualitative data? You know, how the agents are talking with the customers. And we are using audio, using Gemini, we are voice detecting the system and transcribing it and using AI to generate the output. It cost us less than a rupee to analyze, some 10, 15 minutes of a audio call.
Awesome.
So, I think cost is not the issue in today's world. It's finding the right solution and the use case that AI can solve.
Getting the best value for what you invest.
Yeah.
That's more important for business.
Correct. And it's still very nascent. It's still, even we have been invested in AI since last 1 year, and we are still trying to find that ROI, what ROI to expect, or, by investing this much. Some early successes, but yes, it's a journey. And yeah, having everything on cloud helps. Of course, if you have a data center in the back end, that's where the issue will come. How do I add more compute and all those things.
I think another. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so at the risk of sounding very backward, I actually don't have a data lake. All of my data is with my loyalty. We've also been early adopters of the loyalty program, the cell phone based loyalty program. So we have like 10, 15 years of data, millions of names on it. And as we move from loyalty partner to loyalty partner, the data moves as well. So why would I need my own cloud with that data on it? Is it to protect it in some way, or how? Because I'm using it to do my segmenting, I'm using it to do my communications. What else am I not doing at this point where, I'm not nearly big enough to do what you're doing, but what would be the next step with me? So the thing with AI that throws me off is that there's a lot, right? There's just a whole lot. And for me to find the right solution for me in the place that I am now, at the size that I am now, at the expenses that I can bear now, is what I'm constantly exploring, right? So that's where this is coming.
I think just our point of view on this, and before I respond to you, I would definitely love to give a rejoinder to your point essentially around the cost and the computing capability. See, I think this is a journey, and this is a journey which is going to evolve, which means that you are today, whether you like it or not, in the midst of a revolution from where there is no turning back. And the other very important point that we often do not give enough importance to is that your biggest IP today is your data. And in a way, that's the question to answer to your question as well, that because the ownership of the data and the ability to be able to leverage that particular data set is so critical to you as you move forward, that just keeping it in a loyalty system or keeping it with a third party and not being able to keep it in a fungible environment such as the cloud can by itself start to become a limiting block as you expand, as you grow. What if you need to acquire another company tomorrow? What if you need to go into a new geography or a new market? How is it that you can do a A/B testing of or a pilot into a new market? How do you run surveys and be able to leverage that survey in order to be able to respond to customer requirements on the fly? How do you do better inventory planning, say for example, with regards to which colors and sizes will work in what particular season in which particular market? This level of complexity, because of the changing face of this particular customer, is a reality. Whether we like it or not, you're a 60 crore business or a 6,000 crore business, this is a reality. It will be a reality for a micro niche market, or it will be a reality for a mass market bulk sales. But we can't do away with it. And I think that is really where it requires a little bit of finding of self and internal deliberation into, is this an investment that I'm looking at today, and what is the time frame for this investment? What's the return on this investment? There are going to be certain systems which are going to go redundant as a result of this investment. They are going to naturally phase out. I think it's very important to draw a roadmap when we do this evaluation.
Yeah.
Correct. Just one point here, and I agree with Anisa when she said it also depends upon what stage of business we are in. Of course, what is the format of the business and what is the need? For example, something like Belgian Waffle Co. We are currently present in offline. We're not a D2C brand yet, but we are present on aggregators. Now, for me, the biggest challenge is to have one view of customers, because investing in a physical store, etc., you would want maximum business to come from offline, because you have to pay additional commissions, etc., when it comes to aggregator business. But when it comes to the investment in data security and all, it also is important to know what stage of business we are. We're 8-year-old, 10-year-old company with a fairly large presence, as I mentioned, 650 plus stores across 200 cities and all, and really growing very fast. We almost had like 10 stores a month. That's the average that we work with. Having said that, we're also currently working with partners who host our data somewhere else, right? Perhaps as a solution for me at this stage of business, because then this whole cost value proposition comes in play. What is it that I'm looking at this point in time, whether I'm making money or not? And especially for an F&B retail, like majority of QSR struggle with making money, like bottom line. We're one of the few players that have been bottom line positive for years. When you work on such models, all the costs, including marketing cost or any acquisition cost or any tech cost, is going to be a function of what is my value cost proposition at this point in time. Of course, I want to be future ready. I want to have a view of, what is it in the next 5 years, and I want to move with the speed that that my target audience is moving. Right, we're serving Gen Zs largely, like Gen Zs and millennials, and they're all tech pro. But then, is there a solution that exists that tells me, hey, boss, this is the view for next 3 years if we invest. This is the view for next 5 years if we invest.
So, Vrushali, and I think we it was construed in the wrong manner. What we meant to say was companies have invested in data lake because that was the need of the hour at that point in time. Do you necessarily need to invest in a data lake or a data warehouse today, given the advent of agentic AI and the flavor of agentic AI? The answer is a big no, right? Is there merit in doing that? Yes, you can still do. Like, the data can be from multiple source system coming into a data lake, going into an agentic layer, or from multiple source system directly into an agentic layer, right? The choice is yours. Like, what kind of data, how much of unstructured data do you have, how much of structured data you have, and what are the use cases that you're playing with today. If you are limiting your use case, and I'm not saying limited in a negative connotation, I'm just saying that if your use case today is, I just want to dedupe my customers and know more about my customers so that I can profile them and use that information to service them better and give them a better customer experience in the store, that's fine. It's not going to blow out of it. But if you're then, is your competition not using that data in other ways? Your competition is probably using his or her data to marry it back to inventory, to marry it back to supply chain, to marry it back into designing better offers, designing better schemes and campaigns, and doing marketing better, right? And acquiring more customers. So sooner or later, you'll have to start doing that, right? So as part of your roadmap, even if you want to start small, you know that you talked about the Gen Z, you talk about whatever generation comes next, millennials and all of those. If they are interacting with you there is an expectation from your end consumer, right? Like today, I hate calling anyone. If I can solve something on the bot, on the go, I am the most happy person. Like, we are forced to kind of call and wait and be on those long wait times. But if I can just do that on the chat and some agent responds to me, I am totally okay. And that's where the generation today is going to, right? So if you've not invested in that technology today, and you've not acquired, acquisition of personal customer information is a long drawn process. We are also, like, it's become a broken record now, we are also moving away from cookie data and all of those kind of things, right? Where do you have the personal information then? You have to constantly work on making your unknown buyer known. Probably Anwer can add a little more about offline and omni-channel coming together, of how do you merge those data, and then whether the person, today clients are spending enough and more where they are recognizing they're asking the person to come and either scan a QR code or through facial recognition identify this person is linked to this customer ID. This is what the browsing behavior online was, hence propose these kind of solutions to him from a clienteling perspective. That's where companies and retailers going to. In fact, when we see the maximum number of use cases in the retail scenario, like whatever kind of retail and FMCG companies that our clients are in. In fact, when Agentforce was launched, the launch was with a retail client, right? The keynote session that happened at Dreamforce a couple of years ago was with Saks Fifth Avenue, where we piloted and built the solution together with them. So that's how. So you cannot. So even if the use case is small at the moment, or you may not be wanting to do anything and everything, right? You were talking about, and we were talking about just limiting it to loyalty management systems. Now, if you keep the data only in your loyalty management systems and you're not synthesizing that data, let's say with your marketing systems, or not using that data to run your campaigns, you're probably missing out on something. We don't know. We can put a value to that. Exactly. Upload it into. But can you run a synchronized campaign where you say that I have an irate customer today. I do not want to send him some goodie message. I rather try and cajole him with a discount offer so that I can win him back, right? Anwer, if you may want to add from an omni-channel perspective.
You have touched upon a very important point that if I can solve a problem with a chatbot, it's well and good. But since these people represent the marketing and the e-commerce front, we talked about so much of the back-end operations. Abhishek, Himanshu, can you add a bit on the use case, especially in the marketing and e-commerce side, on how it actually, because we are talking about autonomous intelligence, there's a factor of trust, there's a factor of our information being secured in the right way. So can you please add on to those points, and maybe then Anwer can proceed?
Sure, but before I actually do that, I don't want to interrupt Anwar's thought to the question Shashank has placed. So let Anwer answer and then.
I think in last 3 years, I was also part of the project management team before. We have seen there are many use cases where there are new technology where people want to just push it on to use it. Let's say something called a virtual trial room on an e-commerce website. This is good for nothing. I mean, nobody uses. But okay, sorry. Okay. So we have tried. I don't see any usage on our click-based data. So these are the ROI is subject to the use case what we have, the pain point. As a consumer, when I say retailer, my pain point is I have amount of product on my website. Am I able to show the right product at the right time in a limited clicks? So that's the product discovery. Do I have the relevant use plugins or the tech available so that if a consumer coming and picking up a product or clicking onto let's say a Stripe blazer, I should be able to acknowledge that this person is looking for this kind of a product, and then there is a cohort available for this particular customer, and then he keep on showing those things. So this is one piece wherein we can do lot many things as a consumer, I'm saying, as a customer of these services. Then comes the large volume of stores. How do I provide this service to our customer? You can buy online, go to the store and return. If the size is a problem, then go and exchange your size. My returns are almost not mine. I think this is an industry standard. The returns are running between 30 to 40%. RTO is a big problem, which is again consuming the entire profit which we make. So that how do we minimize the return? One is obviously merge the online with the offline, so that in case of any exchange with respect to size, go to your nearest store, exchange it. So therefore we need to merge the data so the bill should be available for a customer to view, for our for cash point to view, online and offline together. So there must be some repository of data which we must be creating in one place. Then there are use cases which are very specific to once we have sold the product. It is the amount of calls we get. They can be 90% of them can be bifurcated in two buckets. Where is my order? Where is my refund? In last 6 months, I've done enough, which means I'm sending WhatsApp. I'm also sending SMSs multiple times. WhatsApp is expensive, so we are sending twice, but SMS is enough. So we have processed your refund, we have refunded the amount, yet the same customer is calling, where is my refund? Because nobody checks. Nobody checks whether my credit card has got the credit or not. My GPay or UPI got the credit or not. So it's really tough, even if you bombard customer with all the SMS, overload the information, they still call you, figure it out. So therefore, there is a need to, optimize our current bot, service bot. And therefore, we can build multiple journeys which are our pain point, not which is available in the market. There could be so many things available in the market. We don't need everything. For example, WhatsApp shopping. It was a big thing after COVID. Nobody buys. So many people invested in catalog creation, WhatsApp account, WhatsApp tech. Nobody buys. So it is not the solution which is available. It's the problem what we have, and every company, every enterprise would have a different set of problem. So our problem is to handle those 20% of our orders are converted into complaints. I won't say complaints. They're just calling because they don't know the product has been delivered, or it is on the way, or the refund has been processed, but they don't acknowledge this or they don't know this, and therefore they are calling. So how do I resolve those number of complaints? And I truly believe if a customer picking up a phone and calling the helpline number, which means they have taken enough amount of pain before that. Yeah. So it's not easy to make a call. We all know that as a end consumer. We hardly make calls to any of these helpline. So therefore the need of a service bot, and currently speaking, I'm looking for a better service bot which can talk to customer the way they talk to our agent, live agent in person, and this bot can be embedded deeply with our downstream system, which is SAP, and ClickPost, which is managing the airway bills, all of these. So it can connect with all of these and then provide solution on a live environment.
So, Vrushali and Anvi, just I know you had a point from Manu, but these are the kind of examples where one single source system will not have all the information for a bot to respond, or an agent or an AI to respond. It will need to synthesize information from multiple different sources and then come up with an answer. And a human can absolutely do it. A human can do it much more efficiently if an agent consolidates all of this information together and then presents it back, right? Question from Manu.
Yeah, I think maybe in a way Manu's question has got embedded into the discussion that has happened here, and to an extent I think Anwer did respond to that. But the other thing that you need to understand also is how does brand discovery happen today? When I start thinking about the application and the way that data is getting accumulated, the other important aspect is, are you intelligently able to understand how does brand discovery happen? So for example, if I need to connect to the way, for example, now my mom purchases online, or the way my daughter does, it's not too different. Because my mom's started learning from my daughter and has completely changed her purchase behavior and discovery mechanism over the last 12 months. And this is a real example. And my daughter doesn't understand app. She doesn't download anything. She doesn't go on browsers. She's a Pinterest and Instagram girl. And that's it. That's her life, right? So are we really understanding what omni-channel truly means? In a cookieless environment, where distribution is doing something else, where data is lying with somebody else, how are we able to leverage this unstructured pieces of interaction and bring them in? That's a very important question in an environment where you are dependent on third-party distribution, or where there is no Google and there are no paid searches and the SEO, SEM is practically dead for all purposes. What do you do in such an environment? And I think that it's extremely important to be able to, my intent is not to do solutioning. My natural modus operandi is I will go into solutioning, but I will not. But the question that I'm raising for everyone today is, how do you leverage unstructured data in such an environment, or create proxies in order to be able to get the best persona understanding of your customer? Because AI application is going to get layered on it. But the fundamental question, the moot point is, how do you really able to get establishment of that identity of your customer in an environment where you are codependent on so many stakeholders in the ecosystem? And would love to hear some thoughts from people as to how do you go about doing this in today's context, right?
Divya, you.
For this, what we do is, I think we take two approaches, one at a time. Like first, like we segregate thing like what is my top priority right now. Okay, if it is the bottom line, is it going to Insta? What is the flavor of the month or flavor of 2 months? What is that I'm going to focus on? And then we put on our synergies, whether it is third party, whether it is the entire team training or whatever. So right now, if my call is because of the UOSS, where my inventory should lie to be better utilized. Okay, so that's all that the team is working on, so that we have the right inventory at the right place, at the right platform. Okay, coming back to how do I leverage, with the bits and pieces. Currently, due to like say budget restraints or again all dealing back to the profitability, what we do is we again hire a third party, okay, some agency who has whatever I'm trying to solve. Say for example, I'm trying to solve that who goes on the marketplaces and I want to get data from there, or because at the end of the day my OMS system, okay, is delivering the product, right? So I should have some data. Of course, I have the regional utilization data as to where I should open my next probably EBO store or franchisee or whatever like that. It helps me in my offline. But what basically I'm trying to say is that every time you need to have one question and you need to answer that, because AI is so vast, so vast. You cannot put your synergies in all of them. You need to find one question that is most important to your organization and try to solve for it, and not try to solve everything in your hand.
AI is nothing. AI is converting human intelligence into machine. So whatever I will teach to machine, machine will answer. So if we expect much more from AI, it depends on how we teach them.
No, sir. No, sir. I don't agree to that at all, at all, at all. I don't think so. It is there are nuances to the AI. Of course, the prompts that you give them, it will try and synchronize the data in your prompts. If you ask for whatever, it will try to give you a solution on that. But the data, what we try to crunch, we get stuck. Okay, when we are trying to crunch the data, we have a lot of data lying everywhere, right? We try to crunch it from here, from here, from here, MIS, kabhi yahan se, kabhi yahan se, kabhi store data. We are not able to kind of make a truly sensible report out of that. But when you tell the AI, and all these systems are already integrated into our system, right? And you tell them it's on a click of a button, right? And then it will tell you also the solutions to it. How do you kind of optimize it? So it is giving you, it's throwing you analytics, it's showing you data. What do you do with the data? What do you streamline the data? How do you streamline the data to be efficient for your organization? I think that's where we as leaders need to navigate.
So first thing is that any company has to first control their basic system, basic WMS and inventory. If that works fine, entire reporting will work fine. When I worked 2-3 companies, including Domino's Pizza and all this, so there was a lot of issues and unstructured data. And when management says, no, I don't want to see your Excel, show me on the system. Everything start coming on the system and perfect. And in my current company also, when I joined 7 years back, there was no data, no MIS. Everything was, इनका Excel है, ये sales में है, MBO के, ये LFR के हैं, उसका है. When I joined, I say, boss, you stop your Excel with you up to your laptop. Don't share with anyone else. If you want to share, you share my system report. with my portal. And nowadays, in Spykar, I can say multiple auditor came and observed and then given the report to board. We are the first. They have not seen such system in any retailer where data is in real-time basis. So if you have to tight the back end, you will get everything.
There used to be a time when there was a certain number that'll come from finance, and there was certain number that'll come from CEO's office. For even marketing campaign and its effectiveness on sale, there is some data that marketing team has created, and then we're presenting to the board, and then everyone's like, oh, this is not the data. We have some other ROI. This throws some other number. Oh, you're showing gross number, we're saying net. You're showing it at an NBT level, you're showing it at per store average level, we are showing it at... So there would be so much confusion, and I agree with you, and I think even at the BWC, Belgian Waffle Co., this one thing that we are definitely working on is tying this one data. No one will get data from anywhere else. There'll be an ERP system, there'll be something like a Tableau. Only download data from there and present it for any of the conversations or meetings, board meetings, etc. Just answering one thing, Shashank, when what you had mentioned, my point was not that you can't, you should be using, and we are using all of that. We have chatbots, we have a lot of other, gamifications and other things being utilized. My question was, when I'm wanting to go to the next level of utilizing tech and AI, and I am a bottom-driven company, right? How do I make sense of where should I go? Is there anything available that'll tell me, hey boss, if we invest in tech, this is the 3-year scenario, this is the 5-year scenario, and by which I can actually help the board understand, hey boss, this is how we need to sort of go ahead with.
Absolutely. So, work with Salesforce.
It's too expensive.
It had to come somewhere.
Tell us how to convince our bosses that they need to shell out another 100,000 rupees a month.
No, the limited reason why I was saying that was we work with a lot of retailers, right? And retail as an industry operates on wafer thin margins. We know that, but it still is the second largest industry for us, only behind financial services. It's probably the industry which spends the most on tech after financial services across the globe. So having said that, we work with a lot of clients today to create a business case to justify what will be the ROIs that will get impacted. Baselining where you are at currently, what is it that you can expect and how do you track and trend against it over a period of time, right? So we're happy to put that together. We have the industry benchmarks to even give you a preliminary view to say that, hey, an investment of this nature can yield you this percentage benefit in A, B, C, D categories or KPIs. And if those KPIs marry yours, or we take, then it's like a straightforward answer. If not, we take your KPIs and work backwards from there. So we have a team which sits with us, with the solutioning team and the sales team to put that business case together. And it's not like a big exercise. All we need is some baseline data from your side. And it's not only Salesforce, right? I'm actually stepping beyond. If you actually work with a company which is serious about their technology and customer success, they will do it for you. And these are not very long exercises. It typically takes just about a couple of weeks. Or if you want to see industry benchmarks of what we've delivered in the past, you can always refer to published case studies where clients have spoken. That data is also available. So from an e-commerce perspective, just to give you an example, I can share the links with you from just purely e-commerce. We publish all data of every e-commerce website that is on the Salesforce, this with their consent, of course, that is on the Salesforce e-commerce platform, made available to everyone. What are the categories that are selling? What has been the upside? What are the volumes that are going? What are the return RTOs that you are looking at? And all of those kind of data available. So we collect a lot of information, and with the client's permission, we either mask the data and come up with a generic baseline number that you should be hitting at, or we make a bespoke, we call it business value services engagements for you to create that kind of a business case. But Divya, I really liked your point of what you said. Bringing the essence of an AI is bringing all the data together and then synthesizing that information, right? That remains foremost and the backbone for any kind of AI that you're running. If you start running AI on data sets that are disparate, God save us all.
Yeah.
some discount, we love to.
Happy to have a chat on.
We are using Saska Sundar Pitao solution.
All the activities. I think once you have an ERP system in place, and that would be the binder for everything, whether
Absolutely.
it is sales, whether it is whichever platforms.
Yes.
I think one ERP system, which I think everyone has, even a smallest company would have that. That should be the binder for any AI analytics.
True.
Right.
True. It can, but you would also have other data points, right? Like how do you bring
Of course, of
marketing? How
course.
do you bring engagement data in there? So we are saying, how do you take your ERP data, which would have your sales data, which would have your inventory data, your POs, and all of those kind of things. I'm saying, let's say, what do you do about your service data? What do you do about your marketing data? Now that
So
information does
marketing
not.
data can never be linked. It's always ROAS based. I don't think you can link it back to a. You can link it back to a campaign. You, can link it
You
back
should.
to
I think
this
you
thing,
should.
but
You should use the marketing data as well.
You can
should.
use your marketing plus sales data plus
Yeah,
service data
you
plus
need to-
inventory data to come up with a
You need
differentiator.
to correlate your marketing data to your sales to know your
But
you
how?
could have a
Like
you could have a
say
diff
for
of it.
example, For example, if you have you've invested in Insta, Meta, whatever,
Yeah.
right? So you get a campaign level data, right? You do not get it on style level that what has been the consumption and this thing. You can get it for the PLAs that you've spent on Myntra and say for an Amazon and Flipkart, right? You get a style level data, you can plug it on in the style level, right? But when you're spending on say a Google or something like that, you will not get on a style level. You will only get it on
Then you can do-
overall, like whatever you're doing on a D2C, you can see it on a D2C level.
You can do a lookalike comparison with there. There are ways and means to do that, right? Like you can create a lookalike audience and figure out what is that information looking like in the general scenario and what is it looking like for you, or the industry at large and what is it looking like you. So those.
But it won't be accurate to a style level.
See,
It will not get
finally-
connected to your AX level or a whatever ERP
See, finally,
style level.
finally, we always maintain that there will be a human element to all of this. It will make us all a lot more efficient. What you derive and how do you use that data to take some decisions is what we are trying to get to.
You want data based on the customer billing. So whatever customer is bill, you have customer mobile number. And based on that you have bill based on that you have SKU wise data, size wise data, color wise data, multiple ways are in CRM we can get the data from CRM. You can get the data from the POS. CRM and POS you link, you will get the data. What we have sold in the POS through CRM loyalty, and what inventory we have balance for the customer, which region we can get the data. If we have right system and right data entry updated in the warehouse.
Okay, so I've got my POS data. That's got all my customer data online and offline. I've got my loyalty data. That's got all my customer data, historical and current, online and offline. All of this is being fed into my marketing platform and my website platform, right? It's all going either udhar and it's all being used, but there's no data lake. I'm just wondering if I need a data lake.
You had to ask your team to create a data lake. Whatever is passing, it has to pass through this only database. You will get the answer. If you have any issues, you connect me.
I will call you.
connect the right
I'm going
person.
to
You will
definitely
get the
call you.
solution.
Anisa. So, Anisa.
Salesforce, they will come to front side, but back end you have to correct. So if you are not getting right solution or partner, you connect me. I will give you the number. They will connect you.
So to add why you need data lakes. See, for Shopper Stop, 83% of the business comes through loyalty program. And that is possible because loyalty program is identifiable customers. And we're able to leverage that data to move offline customers to online, to move online customers to offline. So like there is no other choice. Aapko data customer ka, you have to keep it to yourself so that you can leverage it. If you are not doing it, your competitor is anyway they are doing it.
We have built one system, customer calling system. My sales team call, marketing team call to customer, boss, आपका birthday है, anniversary है, you come. So based on that, we have built such a system dashboard where we will get the how many calls store has done, and how many calls executed, picked by customers, how many denied, and ROI, conversion of that, each store-wise, region-wise, and how much value we are converting on those. That up to that level we have built.
This is done by humans right now, the pulse.
But either way, for your social and marketing, you might be using GTM, right? Google Tag Manager to use कर ही रहे होंगे. So through that, you will be able to identify the style level कि उसका क्या हुआ. If my campaign is running on that page, you can add the tags. So you will be able to understand at tag level. Unless on reel you are putting some link or something. Yeah. Correct.
The entire journey is not something that we're able to map yet. So what he said made sense. And of course, CRM talks to POS, etc. And we have all the level of data. We have basket analysis, product analysis, customer level analysis, at sale level, NOB level, AOV level, lifetime value level, and all that. But what we're trying to basically say is there are different touch points that we have. And as marketeer, I'm putting monies on those touch points because we just know that these touch points work. There is no mechanism by which we can actually track it down. Okay, this purchase was done because of 1, 2, 3 touch points. So we are still unable to find and map the entire consumer journey across touch points.
100% we cannot achieve because there is a word customer. If you break customer in 2 words, customer.
I guess Shashank and Himanshu, you guys have got a permanent roundtable speaker, Rupendra. I mean, for all the future sessions, Rupendra is in.
Yes, I think we need to get Rupendra to become a Salesforce customer. And he's going to be a permanent feature in the panel.
He's going to become a Salesforce competitor.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a competitor.
I think with the knowledge and skill set he has, he's got an alternate career option also of setting
And
up
he's
his own
been,
shop.
I must tell you, he's been in back-to-back roundtables. He was speaking about RFID in the morning, and then now he's speaking about Agentic AI.
I think his
I guess I can put him in one more.
subject matter expertise shows.
Okay, just to sum up, I guess, I just want to ask one question on the conversational commerce and autonomous intelligence. I mean, what's in your bag? If you were just to start with Vrushali, what do you feel for your, in terms of Belgian Waffle, what's the conversational commerce? It's a very basic layman question, but in terms of conversational commerce, where do you see yourself and the company in the next 5 years?
Define conversational commerce.
Everything what we have, from agentic AI to chatbots, all those things.
Of course, as I mentioned, we have used the basic stuff, the chatbots and the gamification. The next leg of tech intervention for us largely comes from the point of view of increasing business efficiencies, operational efficiencies. Of course, AI to some extent for planning, SCM, etc. already exists. ERP already exists. And of course, I think in the morning session we were there and someone spoke of camera, AI layer on the camera, right? Some of the issues that we face at the store level are frauds, right? Of course, we all talk about consumer-led AI interventions to know them better, to serve them better, etc. But to actually control efficiencies or better efficiency at the store level, is there any mechanism by which we can have control over frauds? Sometimes inventory frauds happen, loyalty frauds happen, and I was actually talking to someone who mentioned, hey, we could perhaps use like a CCTV and there could be a layer across CCTV and we can actually identify if there are frauds done at the back end and stuff. So yeah, that is perhaps the next level of AI interventions that we would like to sort of have.
Anisa?
basis or something like that, we don't even show that option of COD.
That's RTO intelligence, not return.
Whatever. I mean, I'm just telling with what she's
RTO
saying that
intelligence doesn't really apply to
kind of a thing.
Actually, not talking about consumer-led fraud. I'm actually talking about the back-end staff levels fraud. So, to increase the efficiencies, to actually control on wastage.
Whatever AI is getting generated from there, maybe they must be, I don't know if there are hiring agencies who have a tagging similar to this in the back end.
Anisa, your points on this. One minute each.
Sure. Let me know when my time is up. But actually, I'm glad you brought up RTO intelligence because we've implemented RTO intelligence, and RTO is very, very, very high in footwear. Not to mention like shoes disappearing and being replaced with newspapers. This is very. But okay, so RTO intelligence very high, and we've recently implemented it. We're tracking it. We're working on it. We're very excited, right? Because RTO is such a big leak in our profit. But the other things that we would like to see and implement is, I mean, exactly what Anwer was talking about. Like, I want the customer to be able to ask, where's my order, and get the tracking info. I want him to be able to ask, where's my refund, and get that info. But also, I mean, at a larger level, again, what Anwer was talking about, I want to do what he is already doing, is help the customer pick the things he likes from my vast inventory. You know, there are 10,000 styles on the website. I even sometimes can't find what I want. So I would love to have an easy, unannoying way for a customer to be able to find that. And I have found that a lot of chatbots and and I've experimented on a lot of websites. It's called Shopping for Work. All the bills go to my bosses. Is that a lot of chatbots are very annoying. They just block your screen. They don't close. They don't, they don't answer the right question. They don't ask the right question. They don't know that you've shopped for what you shopped. So there's a lot of bad experience out there. And there's a lot of things that are incredibly useless that are pushed really hard, and sometimes we don't know if they're useful or not, which is why this is a great forum, because we can talk to each other and say, hey, did you find the trial room useful? And if you did, yes, that's something that I will try as well. Right? So I think now I've moved on to human intelligence. So I should probably backtrack and say thank you for this session. I'm going to pass it on.
How do I put it across? While people find it difficult to explore product, and our only objective is to give them the right product which they are looking at, the intent should be read by an automation which is simultaneously trying to copy a customer's behavior, validating it with the repository which the bot has created, and then throw options of the product basis on what is the repository what is the bot learning is so far. If it is a new customer, old ke case mein we know we have already built a profile, but having said that, we also have multiple lifestyles being retailed from one platform. As for example, Veremoda, we have Veremoda mainline, we have Veremoda girl, and then Veremoda plus size. So while we have created a duplicate profile internally and trying to figure out if this customer is a loyal customer, usually buy white linen, try and show white linen, whatever you have. But at the same time, also learn from the click-based stream. If they're not clicking on white, they're clicking on something which is a denim plus size. We shouldn't be, just bombarding this with the repository which we have created. So it's a mix of offline intelligence which we have built about this profile and what is the consumer click-based behavior. And both of them should work simultaneously in order to, give a right solution. With respect to conversation, I think service bot is the only thing which we see at this point of time. I've not seen many people, using or, it has been sold widely that you can consumer will say, okay, I'm looking for a black dress, show me black dress, or knee length, full length, high length, full sleeve, boat neck, all of these. But end of the day, consumers, they themselves don't know what is it which they want to buy. They just come to the website, they say, okay, my overall profile says I'm a dress buyer, show me something dress at a reasonable price or a discount. So R is not a need-based product. R is all lifestyle. We need to inspire them to buy a product. So our video shoot, our images has to be in line with that global perception that, okay, if I am looking for a dress, that it has to be through the browsing experience rather than conversation. So conversation for us is very limited, but browsing, yes. There we want to invest, offline and online both. And yeah, we're creating one repository for all customers, offline and online together. And then one is on the go, directly learning from the click-based.
I have done, I think almost. Only I think I can say you have to bifurcate customer with Gen Z and non-Gen Z, because Gen Z is based on digital, others are focusing on personal calling, personal touch bases. Then they will come to your store and buy the things. So you have to bifurcate customer in two format, Gen Z and non-Gen Z.
This is a very good conversation. So going back to the conversational commerce, I'll also touch base on the product that we've built, which is specifically for the retail companies that are service oriented, which have salons and spas like Naturals and Green Trends, all these companies, right? It's an agentic AI which has the integrations with their ERP or CRM systems. It has integration with their knowledge base, to their website, pretty much all the data about that company. So it can answer any questions that says, okay, I have such and such hair, like what do? I have this scar in my face, like what kind of treatment is best suited for me. It's going to help you discover the service, and it will be able to kind of also say like where the stores are, where they can take an appointment. They can pick their own saloonist or whatever massagist, whatever the person they want to work on them. They can pick a date, time, slot, and confirm an appointment. This will go into their ERP and their backend system. So it's a layer that sits on top of their existing systems. So it's agentic in a way where it kind of integrates multiple systems. It makes decisions on the flow and helps complete the customer experience. And as Anwer said, I think it's very important. This has to show the value for the brands, value for the consumers. They need to be able to reduce the calls and basically have more conversions. That's what we're trying to achieve with this for the brands.
I think we had a very good discussion around AI, and talking about the conversational AI, we already did some experiments with it. If you go to shopperstop.com, you'll find a fashion stylist, which is LLM-based chatbot. We are kind of figuring out how we can provide similar kind of a solution for beauty, kind of like a beauty advisor. But what I feel is still very nascent. While the solution is live for almost 6-7 months, we are still yet to identify has it helped us or not. Has it improved the conversion or not. So while it's still too early to say whether conversational commerce, how we can leverage that. While at the same time, I was speaking with some of the people from US, which is more advanced in terms of tech, and they are saying that conversational AI, where you are chatting with the bot, it has evolved to a voice-based conversational AI. And that is something we'll probably look very closely, but yeah, it's still too early to talk. Is it? I'll check it out.
Divya, your points.
Yeah, but you can't shop at work and talk to your phone.
No. What we realized that Shopper Stop present across across India, different dialect, different language, with voice that multilingual capacity comes into it, right? And we want people shopping in Bengali during Pujo. So that's the aspiration we have.
I guess that sums up to a very
That's
insightful
it. I think I'm done.
conversation. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the experts, and thank you, team from Salesforce. I guess it was a lot of learning and insights. And as everybody was mentioning, it only comes and it only happens when we are all sitting at the same table. Because most of the time we are not meeting. Because I shouldn't use the word competitors, but at the end of the day, you're all competitors, and you're not. So it is complimentary now. Anyhow, thank you for your time. Thank you so much.